Meet the Maker. We do this monthly just to kind of spotlight makers in the fiber industry, and this one in particular is the also the creator of the Meet the Maker. Today we're interviewing Jessica Whitmore, owner and CEO of Jadawoo Designs, and we're just gonna take some time to actually meet her when she's not working, when she's not doing the show, when she's not dying. We're gonna actually just talk to her and just learn more about her. So first of all, why don't you just introduce yourself and just kind of share with us who you are and just give us a little background of your origin in the fiber community.
Absolutely. So before I get started, I have to introduce you because you are also a special guest this week. So this month's host is my husband, William Whitmore. I figured who better to interview me and let you guys meet the real me than having William join. So thank you for doing this with me.
With pleasure.
I appreciate it. So who am I? That was a question, right?
Yes. And we'd like to know just a little bit about your background in the fiber community.
Absolutely. So I've been a knitter for over 30 years. I started knitting when I was about 10. My mom taught me. I don't sit still well, and so I needed something to do. So she taught me how to knit. But I also hand quilt. I can machine quilt. I hand sew. What else do I do? Embroider, cross stitch. I used to do latch hook rugs. I think that covers it. And then I started dyeing about 5 years ago.
And how much of that, because that was a long list, how much of that did you learn from your mom?
All of it.
Wow.
Except cross stitch. I taught myself to cross stitch, but everything else I learned from my mom.
Wow. And do you remember what age you were when you guys kind of got started, when she started sharing the knowledge and the
knitting it about
wisdom?
10, but
wow.
I feel like we've always been hands-on and crafts. She's always, since I was little, if there was not time to play outside, she gave me a workbook or a project or something to do. So I always kept my hands busy.
And you knew at 10 that you were interested?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And I have a cousin who knits, and then I recently learned that my grandmother had a yarn shop in her house. So, and I didn't know this when I started dyeing or had a shop. This was all just
all in the family.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you. We appreciate that. And of course, this is easily one of the most popular questions, something that everybody wants to know. So we're gonna deal with that right now. Share with us the idea, the brainchild or whatever behind the name Jadawoo. Yeah, see, because you know that we go to shows, guys, and then people are always asking, are you Jadawoo? What is Jadawoo, etc. So
is my name Jada? So when I was in high school, my nickname was Jada because I was a little outspoken, and I've always enjoyed using words. And actually, nicknamed Jada from Jadakiss, the rapper. And so it was just Jada. And that was my more outgoing self. And so when I fast forward, I needed a bib name for running, and I leaned on Jada for a little bit more outgoing personality, but that's super boring. So I added a little woo. And so it was Jadawoo. And so then when I went to open the business, it took me a long time to figure out the name. But I was like, oh my gosh, nope, I need to lean on that more outgoing personality. And it became Jadawoo. So here we are. And designs, because it was going to be Jadawoo Dyes, and I wrote that out, and that was horrible. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a failure if I do this way. So it was Jadawoo Designs.
Okay. Now share the connection between the concept of Jadawoo and how it ties in with the actual ministry.
Oh sheesh. Well, can we go back a little further?
We are interviewing the maker.
Okay, so when I started the business, really it started from a yarn crawl. So Rose City Yarn Crawl, we went on it together.
Yes, I did.
We made it to all the shops. It was crazy. And that particular time, I think, was when you got super, super sick. So yes. The last day of the crawl, he just was in the backseat of the car while I ran into the shops and did my thing. which thank you for that. But I had two things that I was looking for. I got one of the shop patterns from the crawl. And I purchased 3 colors. It was a 3-color shawl. I was super excited. I was gonna come home, cast it on. It was gonna be amazing. And then I was also looking for a variegated red and black yarn so I could make you a 49ers hat. So this
Go
is
Niners.
And when we got home, and this was 2020, so literally right before everything shut down for COVID. We got home, finished a crawl. I had no red and black variegated yarn. I didn't find one at all the stores we visited. So that was a bummer. And then I got ready to do my shawl, and the colors side by side looked great, but once I worked them up together, they didn't look good. Then within a week, everything had shut down for COVID. And so I needed to replace one of the 3 colors, and I had to do it online. And so I visited so many online shops trying to find the perfect purple. I had people who were doing FaceTime with me to try and help me match colors from afar, which was ridiculous because you guys can see right now, the colors aren't true. But on that journey, I realized there was room for so much more yarn so that makers could create exactly what they were looking for. And so that's when I started playing with color. And I dyed up some skeins and I shared with Robin, my coworker and close friend, and she knit up some Turkish bed socks with the yarn. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And it felt so good to see what people could make with my yarn. So the dyeing process brought me joy, but then seeing what people were inspired to create brought me joy. That paired with a desire to serve others and give back and just share.
Okay, great. So I may be the only one that doesn't know, and that's okay, but I'm gonna ask.
Oh no.
I'm gonna ask. What is a Turkish bed sock?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I may be the only one, but I would love to know.
They're like little no-show socks.
Oh, okay.
But not because they're like little footy slippers.
Okay. Okay. That may have been just for me, but okay. Thank you.
Yes.
So how long has this ministry been in business?
5 years.
5 years. Okay.
About.
Okay, is there like a core statement, mission statement? You know, because a lot of businesses, you know, tend to have.
Yes, it's hand-dyed yarns to inspire makers is the shortened version. The longer version is hand-dyed yarns to inspire makers to get creative and show their own unique style.
Okay, and 5 years in,
Mhm.
what is your take on achieving that that statement? Like making that manifest in this ministry? Like what is your take?
I mean, I feel like I dye vibrant colorways. And I feel like they're inspiring. A lot of people share with me the things they make with them, which brings me joy. Like that truly is one of my favorite things. And I think I have unique color pairing. So I think I'm pretty on track. I feel good about it.
The inspiration piece is clearly there.
Thank you.
Definitely. Okay, great. So 5 years in and counting, how has the journey been? You know, just a little synopsis of the journey.
Good Lord. Okay.
Okay, maybe a medium synopsis.
So where to start? So the journey started in my kitchen. And oddly enough, it's back in my kitchen, our kitchen. I'm sorry. So I started dyeing yarn in the kitchen, and I wasn't gonna do anything with it. Like I just wanted to dye yarn. And then when Robin made her Turkish bed socks, and then she made a sweater for her daughter, I was like, this is the best thing ever. And I decided to do an Etsy store, and that did okay. But I was like, but if I have Etsy, then how does it like connect with shows and all different kinds of stuff, right? So dyeing yarn, open an Etsy shop, went on a road trip with my mom. We drove from Washington to Arizona the long way. So we went Washington, Idaho, Washington, Oregon, Idaho,
Wow.
and some other states down.
Some other stops along the way.
Yes. And then came back home the opposite direction. And what we did was we hit yarn stops every place that we could. So this is also during COVID. So the trip was amazing. The roads were empty, everything was empty. So it was great. And so the shops that were open, we popped in, and it helped me get a better idea of like how other hand dyers were marketing in shops, what kind of presence there was. It also gave me some ideas on how to continue to grow the business and what I wanted out of it. So opened an online store. And did shows, and here we are. I think I answered your question. Maybe I got
And then some. And then some, thank you. Next question. Share one of your most memorable moments. It doesn't have, it can be anything. It doesn't have to be like a good, it could be anything.
I mean, I feel like there's so many. The very first show I ever did was like just, it was so overwhelming. It felt so great to just be able to like set everything up and look back and be like, oh my gosh, I dyed this, we're doing this, it's real. And then people bought stuff. What? It was crazy. And then they were sharing with me. And that was just such an overwhelming, powerful feeling. And then, I have had times where people see me at a show and I do the same show the next year and they come back and they want to show me what they made. And that's amazing. I had a young lady bring something that she made with my yarn, and that touched my heart, right? I feel like it's everything. All of it is, I don't know that one thing stands out more than others.
Is there anything that you find, most rewarding, or, I mean, maybe it's a few things.
I think it's all rewarding. Except for
Explain.
Except for the social media part. I'm really bad at social media. Like it's rough. But the rest, like I love getting in the dye pots. I dye with no gloves. That's the worst unless I'm doing speckles. So then my nails are all short. But I love getting hands-on in there. I love creating new colors. I still love knitting and creating with the yarn that I dyed. I love doing shows. I love meeting people. I love hearing what they're going to make. I love seeing what they made. Yeah, I don't really love the setup.
I don't know that anybody does.
But I love the end result when everything's set up. I'm like, oh my gosh, look at that. It looks so good. But the journey there can get a little hairy sometimes.
What is something that you've learned in this journey thus far that nobody told you about? Like there was no prerequisite or forewarning, that just something that happened. You're like, whoa, I didn't see this coming.
This is silly. Being recognized. That's crazy to me. Like I didn't know that people would ever like know me. So to go someplace and be like, oh my gosh, are you Jadawoo? And I'm like, this is really weird. Nobody, like, I didn't expect that. That's probably the only thing, right? Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, now in interviews, there's a format, right? So we gotta go to this question.
Oh, what time is it? Maybe we're out of time. Nope. Okay.
Yeah, we good? Okay. Oh, I appreciate that. So share with us one of your most embarrassing moments. If any.
Like yarn related or just in life?
No, this is about the maker. So
I mean, I don't think I have any. I don't think I have any embarrassing yarn moments. Like in life, like I feel like just today I had an embarrassing moments. I don't know if there's, I don't know.
But you know what? The business is young. I'm sure something will come up.
I mean, let's see. I mean, I've had things that have come up where I'm like, oh, I forgot my sign. That's good. But nothing like just tragic.
Okay. I mean, 5 years in, right? I mean, I would say that's a blessing.
Yes, for sure.
Next, what is it about the fiber? Okay, so quick background. Jessica is very busy. It's probably the understatement of
Oh, sheesh.
the year, probably the last 5 years. However, what I'd like to know is what is it about the fiber community that just keeps you going every day, that gets you up, gets you loading that car, gets you driving out all over the great Northwest and sometimes farther? What is it that keeps you going?
I mean, it's the people.
Explain. What about them?
It's it's the excitement, it's the smiles, it's how genuine people are, it's the true interest, it's seeing how open and welcoming people are, it's seeing what they create and tapping into their creative side. I enjoy people.
So why do you place so much value in that interaction? We live in a day and age where it's more social media,
Yeah,
and people tend to be more introverted.
absolutely.
So
And it's funny that you say
explain the
that,
value in that.
because I think big picture, I probably am more of an introvert. But there's something about coming together and sharing a smile and sharing eye contact. And let me tell you, in the fiber world, being able to touch what somebody made is life-changing. And that interaction is amazing, right?
Right.
Like, if you want to touch this, I'll let you touch it.
Because most places is hands off,
Right.
and most businesses.
But I also feel like it's a space where I can just be myself. And there's no judgment. And I hope that when people interact with me, they feel no judgment too, because I just genuinely, I enjoy it.
Okay, that is great. So is there anything, you've shared a lot about, your story in this the fiber community. So is there anything that if you could choose one thing that you would want the people to leave with, when we're done, what would that be that you want them to take hold of and remember about you?
About me or about my yarn?
Either one or both. Your choice.
Um, that's tough. I think, I think as far as me and my yarn goes, just knowing that what I do truly brings me joy, and I hope that that joy comes to them as well. And I hope that whether it's working with my product or interacting with me, they have the opportunity to just be true to who they are. And I hope that that's what they walk away with when they interact with me and my product.
Okay. That is great. Lot of information. And I just want to say thank you to you for being willing to share, because I know you well, being your husband and all, and I know this isn't, necessarily, one of your more favorite things, and you've said it yourself that you're more of an introvert. So I just think that this is really a great step, for you and your growth and your journey. So thank you and congratulations for it.
Thank you. Thank you.
So those are my questions. Shall we leave it? Shall we see if anyone has any questions on that? Maybe.
Oh, yes, you still have lots of time too, so you're gonna have to ask me more questions. No pressure. But yes, you can also open up the chat. So if anybody has any questions, you're welcome to drop them in the chat. But we can also switch gears a little bit and talk about other parts of me.
So, okay. So
Because I don't know that everybody knows what I actually do when I'm not dyeing yarn.
okay. I do have a few more questions. So why are you so busy? Because a little more than meets the eye than just the fiber business. So why are you so busy?
I mean, I don't know that I'm so busy, because you make time for what you love, right? But I mean, I've got this husband and two daughters, which I think most everybody's met you guys at some point or another. We've got this dog, Kiva, she's a sweetheart. Kelsey has a cat who lives with us, so there's that, right? So just a typical household. And then Monday through Friday, I work as the director of human resources for a warehousing company. So that keeps me busy. We have 2 locations, so I flex between the 2 and take on a lot of additional tasks there as well. So, yeah.
Okay, you mentioned some free time, me time. What are some other things that you like to do? Like, do you have other hobbies?
I mean, I like to garden, but right now I don't because I'm afraid of the snakes.
What's next?
We have snakes everywhere in the yard. It's terrifying.
Okay.
So yeah, so I do enjoy gardening. We do have a lot of household plants.
Yes, we do.
What else? In my mind, I still love to run. I'm not actively running right now, but that's like an in my mind hobby, so I count that, right? Because I'm thinking about it.
Is it only just in your mind?
Um,
Because I could have sworn someone had a race coming.
no, it's not only in my mind, but I'm working back to where I'd like to be slowly at my own pace. I don't think I really have time for anything else right now. An occasional trip to the grocery store.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
I do love day trips. So when I'm not dying or doing shows, I think as a family we get out and do day trips any and everywhere, which is always super fun.
Okay. I noticed that you slowly but surely started introducing, new colorways, new different types of fiber. So why don't you just kind of share, that journey? Because I noticed you didn't do it right away. You just kind of paced yourself into bringing in new things. So just kind of, if you would.
Absolutely. So when I started dyeing, I so as a maker, I used Joann's, Michael's Red Heart acrylic yarn forever. That's what I learned on. And then I was first introduced to hand dyed yarns, probably, let me just think for a second. I'm gonna say 20 years ago, but that feels like I'm really old. We'll say 15, that feels better.
15.
And when I first started using hand-dyed yarns, I usually ended up with a superwash merino and nylon, more so because I didn't know a lot about fibers yet. In my journey, I didn't know a lot about the different fiber content or how it really impacted garments. And so I actually bought yarn because I loved it and I loved the way it felt. And I would make things and it wouldn't drape right, or the texture wasn't what I wanted.
Mhm.
And so when I started dyeing yarn, I started with a superwash, 100% superwash merino wool, and then transitioned. I dyed that primarily for quite some time, and then I transitioned to a 75-25 superwash merino wool and nylon, because the nylon gives added strength for garments, and that allowed people to buy yarn for socks or for tees or whatever they wanted. And then I started doing wholesale orders and shows, and that's primarily what people were buying. So that kind of put a pause on my ability to play with different bases. And then as I geared up and stocked up on inventory and had enough for orders, I started slowly like bringing in other bases that I would try, first dyeing and then working with. And then also I spent a lot of time reading and doing research about different fiber contents, whether that's merino wool, bamboo silk, or like a Gotland wool, or different things, so that I better understood not just how it worked for garments, but also how it worked for dyeing. And so when I brought in new fibers, I had to do my homework and really understand what I was bringing into people. And then dyeing it and playing with the color and make sure that it took color right, seeing how it impacted my recipes, because I write recipes for all of my colorways, and then working with it and making sure that not only was it the look that I wanted, but was it the quality that I wanted to deliver. And then I have a habit of just sitting with something for a long time before I introduce it. So I sat with the bamboo, the superwash marinable bamboo silk forever, but it's actually my favorite base. It's just super soft and it's got this beautiful luster to the yarn and it takes color beautifully. So that's my, it's still my go-to. From there, I brought the 100% superwash back, and that was kind of my core for a long time. And lately I've brought in a merino wool nylon silk, which is, it's also gives a beautiful luster and it's has a lot of strength. So you can use it for garments, you can use it for socks. I mean, you can use it for anything, but it has that strength, so it's gonna wear well. But the silk gives it a little bit more of a luxurious look and a little bit different drape. I have a yak base that I've brought in. I don't have it consistently, it shows. You'll see it more coming soon. I have a big event coming up that it'll have full presence in. And the yak is super soft and it also has a beautiful drape. I have a non-superwash. It's a very rustic yarn. Funny story. When I first started dyeing, I bought a large amount. I don't think you know this, my bad in advance. I bought a large amount of undyed non-superwash wool and got it, and I hated the way it felt, so I just disposed of it. But I'm trying again, and so I brought in a different brand of non-superwash wool, and I love the way it feels, and it takes dye beautifully, and it's feels good to work with. So I have a non-superwash option now, starting with a DK weight, which is more for heavier, bulkier items. And then what else? I think that's it in a nutshell. And then for weights, I offer oh no, that's not true. I also just introduced baby Surrey silk, which is a lace weight, like a hairy yarn.
Oh, okay. Thank you, because I was sure trying to figure out what that was. Thank you.
So you can, yes, so you can hold it with another yarn and make it really soft, or you can just use it by itself. So a couple different bases. I spent some time figuring out what my core bases would be. And then I have one more that I'm testing right now that'll introduce also. So I'll have about 4 different DK bases and about 5 fingering weight bases. I do offer a sport weight in one base and a Aran weight in one base.
What is sport weight for?
All right, so let's talk about yarn for a second. So it's just the thickness of the yarn. So this is a fingering weight. Sport weight's a little thicker. Then there's DK weight that's a little thicker, and so on. So sport weight can be used for anything. It just depends on how heavy you want the garment to be.
Okay. So 5 years in, what is your goal for the next 5 years? What are some things you'd like to do, or some things maybe you could throw a few do Easter eggs out for the fiber community?
I mean, I want to get out to more communities, so you'll see me continue to travel to shows. This year's the first year that I'm really traveling, so I'll be in Texas, Missouri. I feel like I do Oregon and Idaho frequently. And then I'll be in California also.
Awesome. Okay.
And then you'll see a little bit heavier focus on wholesale, which will allow me to get into more states and more fiber communities. I'm gonna, in the future, not tomorrow. I've got some key stores that I'm looking at in smaller communities that I'd like to take trunk shows to. Not necessarily about doing big volume, but about bringing hand-dyed yarns to communities that maybe don't typically have that opportunity because they're a little bit smaller. And then hopefully within the next 5 years, I can start to tap into my other dream that goes with the yarn business. So
this will be the easiest segue of all time. And what is that?
I mean, my ultimate goal is after Jadawoo Designs grows to a place where there's brand recognition and I am consistent in what I'm doing and people know what to expect from the brand. I'd like to open a second brand that is focused on working with women at risk and opportunity youth, where that is a different hand-dyed yarn line, where they're learning how to dye the yarn and their colorways that they've created. But ultimately an entire fiber arts collection where they're also learning how to knit and how to crochet, how to pattern design, and people could ultimately commission a hand knit sweater and someone could make that. I feel like someone would pay the price that I could never charge what I really should for this tee, but I think that for a nonprofit, people would pay actual prices to contribute to a nonprofit. So that's my ultimate goal, so that way at risk youth and women at risk can really build transferable job skills and feel value in their work with their hands, but also find a way to manage stress, step into a community that they normally wouldn't be exposed to, and go from there.
So it sounds to me like there's a focus and a goal on the people themselves,
Absolutely.
on reaching them and having an impact on them. Is that correct?
Yes.
Elaborate, if you would. Like why? Most business are most businesses, let's be real, they're profit based. They're about the product, but you really focus on the people. Why? Why is that so important to you?
I mean, it always has been. So in my daily work, going back 100 years, right? My favorite part of all jobs has always been training people and helping them reach their potential and helping them have those aha moments and realizing what is possible. And that's always been what I found rewarding. And so if I can find and I volunteered, I've done volunteer work. So if I can find a bigger way to make an impact and help people grow and realize their potential, then I want to do that. And I think the fiber community is definitely a community that can and will support that. So
Okay. Also in this 5-year period, for those that may not know, there was at one point a brick and mortar store.
there was.
And but at the same time, you are doing more wholesale, getting the product in stores, deliveries, etc. So what is your preference, between, wholesale versus having a brick and mortar? Why do you prefer the wholesale portion?
So I don't know that I necessarily prefer the wholesale.
Okay.
But with the brick and mortar, I was also working full time and had the shop and was dying. And I have 3 jobs and I can't work 3 jobs. One thing I've always been good at is saying yes, but I realized that I actually had reached my capacity and I couldn't continue to say yes. So many things played a part in making that decision, but ultimately, when it was all said and done, I had to make a choice. And I could have a shop, and a lot of things would have had to change with the shop, or I could dye yarn because I'm not in a place where I can transition yet. And I can't imagine not dyeing yarn. And so if I'm going to dye yarn, right, I've got to reach an audience. And so that's the bigger focus on wholesale. But also when I go back to my original mission and helping with brand recognition and the ultimate goal, the more networking I do, it's not just for me, right? It's for the future of what I want to accomplish. And so more wholesale accounts and getting into more communities help support that.
Okay. Okay. Here's a bit of a offbeat question.
Oh, good. I love these.
what do you want from the fiber community? And all of this, what do you want? Beyond your business, beyond your ministry, just what do you want?
I don't know the answer to that.
Again, like for example, some really have, some may have, fiscal goals, right?
Oh, yeah.
Some may have, hey, I want to reach, I want to reach 10 stores, by the end of the year, or, I want to teach, how to dye, what do you want?
Well, my business plan says that my goal is to have nationwide presence in X amount of time and then go international, right? By international, I'd like to do a knitting event in Canada.
And isn't there something in Ireland that you have your
I
eyes
mean,
on?
yeah, I'd love to do everything.
So what about the Ireland?
I mean, I'd
Tell
love
us.
to do shows anywhere and everywhere, but I also just want to travel and do a yarn tour and personally enjoy that. But I mean, that's kind of separate. What do I want from the fiber community? I think now more than ever, just continued support and acceptance of one another. I've had the opportunity to step into a lot of different fiber communities, and they're all a little different, and they all accept new people differently, and they all have, it's like any other community, they're all a little different. But I think now more than ever, it's so important that we step back and we focus on the things that we have in common, like the fiber arts and that passion, and allow that to welcome people that maybe we wouldn't talk to normally and grow and build off of. So,
All right, that's a great answer. Let's see. A lot of
oh, you've got questions. Hold on, I'm gonna help you.
Sure.
Or
Okay, there are some questions here. First one here is from Sarah. And Sarah is asking, have you ever dyed something so pretty that you didn't want to sell it?
yes, I have. I have a colorway and I have my own yarn stash, and like I have my stash for things I've dyed, and then I have my stash from things I've purchased, and I have a little stash of my colorways that I won't sell. They're just for me.
I imagine that there's others like that too out there, huh? And it's okay to admit it. I'm just saying. Thank you, Sarah. That is a great question. Next question we have is from Teresa. I have a question for Mr. Whitmore. Oh boy. Hey, nobody said this was gonna happen. Okay, let's see. Teresa is asking, have you learned to knit too? And Teresa, the answer is no. And the answer is gonna be no.
But can we just let's just talk about this real quick. So you've gone on yarn crawls, you've done shows with me, you went to Fiber Retreat twice.
Yes.
And you see other men doing these things, like it would be amazing if you just gave it a try.
So my answer is this. So I didn't know anything about the fiber community until Jessica started this wonderful business. And in this 5 years, because it's been 5 years for me too, I've learned so much, and I just find all of it just fascinating. I do. And even after 5 years, I'm still learning. Still learning. As far as knitting itself, I watch, like for example, I watch Jessica knit. I've watched others knit, and it's like a video game, right? Like the video games have like 10 knobs and levers and all this stuff, right? I'm confused. And I'm like, oh my God. And I couldn't imagine myself like, there's no way. I would go insane, folks. Teresa, I'd be crazy. And I just watch you guys do that, and it is fascinating to me. And I have a newfound admiration and respect for what you do. But as far as me doing it, probably not. But great question. Thank you. And this is another one from Teresa.
Let's see how you do.
Oh boy. Uh, um, I know, Teresa, I'm so sorry.
It was non-superwash.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
What is non-superwash best for? Pros of using it versus superwash. I'm so sorry. Forgive me, Teresa. Just butchered your question. I'm so sorry, but Jessica, I apologize.
Okay, so let's see how you do.
Oh, that isn't for me. That's for you. Nice try.
Okay, so non-superwash is definitely a more rustic wool. And oh, let's see where to start. I mean, it's great for like sweaters. For me personally, I would use it for more like an outer shell sweater or something. I was going to wear something underneath or heavier. You can use it to felt. So if you want to, can I tell on you real quick?
By all means.
So I've had some sweaters that have been washed and then they felt. And so sometimes you make things and you want them to felt, and that's okay.
Did I wash anything that you wanted to felt yet?
No.
Oh, sorry. I thought I'd try, folks. Sorry.
And so you can felt it.
And what does that mean to felt it? What does that mean?
I wish I had an example. Like the fibers kind of. Okay, so you see how there's stitch definition here?
Yes.
So that
Even
just,
I can see that.
it just kind of becomes like matted together.
Oh,
And,
okay.
and more of like a smooth surface
Mhm.
versus having the stitch definition. Typically it shrinks. In size.
Can that be fixed?
No.
Oh.
It's okay. It gives me the opportunity to build a new garment.
Did you see the embarrassment trickle into my face from me washing things that weren't supposed to be washed?
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
And I would say the other thing is from a dyeing perspective, it takes color completely differently. And it absorbs water differently as well.
Okay.
So,
This is this has been a great opportunity, I think. Just for your own journey and your growth. You know, you continue to step out of your comfort zone, even doing something like this.
yeah.
Because I know that you're not a person that talks about yourself hardly ever at all. I think you're doing a great job, and
Oh, thank you.
I'm really hoping that in all of this that the community learns how dedicated you are,
Well, thank you.
and how hard you've worked and how much you truly love the business.
Thank you.
So at this point, is there anything else that you'd like to share?
So real quick,
Okay.
it's 15 minutes left.
Okay.
And
Oh, okay.
we need to do a giveaway.
Okay.
But I'm gonna let you steer this. So the giveaway will be a stitch marker set with 3 skeins of yarn, fingering or DK weight. It's up to the winner. The colorways will be a surprise though. And so what I've done in the past for giveaways is I've like asked a question based on something that I've already asked during the interview, and the first person to get it right is the winner.
Okay. So go ahead.
You can ask. You're the host, sir. What question do they need to answer for their gift?
Okay, so here's the question for the viewers. If you're doing a show and someone has a question about your product and you don't know the answer right then and there, what steps do you take?
Oh, sheesh.
Best answer wins.
You know me. If I'm gonna ask, it's not gonna be what's your favorite color. I'm gonna challenge you.
All right, poor guy. First person to drop the answer in the chat wins. All right. So what?
You know me.
Sheesh,
I
know.
gotta
All right. I
gotta keep people, gotta keep it provocative. Keep people thinking, right?
Okay. Okay.
So let's see.
Well, now they have to think about it.
Okay. This is gonna be fun.
Go ahead.
So, I'm trying to think what else people ask me normally.
Where are you from?
Oh, I grew up in Yakima.
How did you end up in the Northwest?
I mean, so I grew up in Eastern Washington in Yakima, and my mom ended up moving over here. My mom ended up moving. Huh?
Are you gonna do that for her?
Yeah.
Okay. Because she said she needs a
No,
follow.
that's her answer to your question.
Please follow my page and message me. I'll get you the answer when I find.
I think that's a great answer.
Great answer.
Okay, and this is Sarah again. That is a great answer. Did you do that? Did you reply this way on the fly, or did you need a minute, Sarah? That's a great answer.
And clearly, when even the little bit of time that I've been involved, when you have customers, you never want to leave them, with no answer, with no solution, and
Yep.
that's a great answer because you're not telling them that you don't. You're telling them that you have access to the answer and that you'll get it to them, and that's all they really want. So that is great. That's awesome.
All right, so congratulations. I will get that shipped off to you. You have to drop though. Do you want DK weight or fingering weight? Okay, so I grew up in Yakima. In high school, we moved over to Tacoma. My mom had finished her degree in geology, of all things, and got a job working in a company that had nothing to do with geology. And we moved, I mean, as we all do, right? We get our degree and then I don't remember, some high statistic of people never actually work in the field that they got their degree in.
Sure.
But yeah, then we moved over here and I've been here ever since. You got it. Look at that. She's knitting. Sarah's she's a knitter, but also a crocheter.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, and she's gonna make socks.
Can we move the screen because somebody's there? Or can we not do that?
You know.
Oh, okay. There we go. That's better. That's better.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. We've learned a lot.
Can we talk about other stuff that I love?
What are some other things that you love? Did you guys see how I cut it?
I mean, because I like to talk about Buddy's. Buddy's chicken and waffles is my favorite, and so I just thought I'd
Explain.
I mean, the food is amazing. It's life-changing, and I love life-changing food. So Buddy's is on that list. Yeah.
Okay.
What else?
What are some different ways that you're looking to add, whether it's techniques, equipment, whatever. What are some things that you're looking to add, as we continue to evolve and grow this business? Like, what are some things?
I think the number one thing is to get back into a dye studio.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a dye studio in Tacoma, and the shop, I intended to put a dye studio there and never got to that, which is okay because that wasn't what it was destined to do. But with our upcoming move, getting a dye studio again will be the first key part. Ooh, okay, yes, I'm in Trunk Show Buddies. I could do a buddies.
We'll do as many of those as we can, Sarah. Because that is a great place. Let me tell you, that's great food.
That would be life changing.
Yes, that's a great place.
Okay, I'm gonna have to reach out to him. That'd be a good time.
Yeah.
So studio for sure.
Mm-hmm.
As far as equipment goes, I want to get a warming cabinet, which will increase my production rate and reduce my production time, which will be helpful for me and just kind of work-life balance. And colorways. I mean, I've got some projects that I'm working on. I'm working on a collaboration with a designer and another artist that'll come out hopefully by Fiber Fusion in June, but if not, definitely by Flock, which will be a pattern, mini skein sets, and then an extra item.
Okay,
That will be amazing.
okay.
I've got collections and subscription kits I'm trying to get set up and ready to release, but I'm not quite there yet. I need to make sure that I have the time to do it the right way. There's a new website that'll hit in May, so I'm super excited about that. That'll help the shopping experience, and I think that'll be a little bit fun. Yeah, that'll be good.
Okay. So for those that may not have known, this business literally, its origins were from a small little box. Oh no, totally, and it grew into just a great ministry that it is now. So my question to you is, to anyone out there that is thinking that they want to start, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in the fiber community, but just they want to start up a business from scratch. What is your advice to them based on your experiences?
Okay, I say do it, but first, like, think it through. And what I mean by that is, think about what your goals are. Ask yourself if it's really your passion. Is it something that you really want? Like, what's your why behind it? Is it just to make money, or is there more to it? Because it's going to be hard. And so if it's just about the money, unless you've got like the ultimate brainchild, you have to be able to struggle through it and stick with it. But I also think that if you're passionate about something, you can grow anything. And so do what you love and enjoy the journey, and don't give up. And when it feels like it's not possible, that just means that you need to reset and find a different way. And network, talk to people who've been there before, and ask for help. I'm really bad at that, but there's so many amazing people that are willing to help in so many different ways, whether that's giving ideas, whether that's someone to brainstorm with, whether that's actual, like, yes, here, let me do that for you. Use your resources so that you can be successful.
Great.
Yep.
And something that I'd like to touch on as well is looking at the past 5 years. Is there anyone, like maybe a group of people or a few people that you would like to mention that have been a good support to you in this journey? I mean, I imagine it's probably hard to even count, but
the list is so long.
But what would you say to those people that have helped you on this journey?
I mean, thank you is not even enough. I appreciate you, and I thank you for your confidence in me and your support. I wouldn't be here without you, but also thank you for your understanding as I go on this journey, because it's a new journey for me, and I may not get it right every step of the way. So I thank you for your understanding, and I thank you for being there. And the number of people that applies to is truly endless, because the very first shop that ever gave me an opportunity with the trunk show was Jen at A Little Nitty, and she's always been an amazing supporter, and I can't thank her enough for that, because she helped me have the confidence to continue to do trunk shows. I went in there with my yarn and was like, this is what I do. Do you want to do a trunk show? And bless her heart, she was like, yes, let's do it. But I learned a lot on that, and figured out how to actually approach shop owners and do that work. I've done pattern collaborations with designers who've used my yarn, and I can't thank them enough for their willingness to use my yarn and help showcase what I do and use it for their patterns. I've had at the shop and the fiber community that we built, like that was life-changing in a completely different way. When I opened the shop, it was the scariest thing I ever did. It's scarier than opening the yarn dyeing business. And yet people came, and they continue to come and show up, and that that is so meaningful. And probably the only regret that I have on this entire journey is not being able to figure out how to, like, I couldn't keep the shop open, and I am 100% okay with that. But that group of people, that part still hurts my heart. So navigating that, right? Because we don't get to come together in the same way.
Did you do anything to offset that?
I did what I could.
What'd you do?
I mean, we started Zoom meetups, and a lot of the people from the group have kind of started their own meetups, which I think is spectacular. I mean,
So in a way, it has in a different way, but it's kept going. That's good.
absolutely,
That's a blessing.
yes. So, yeah.
Okay.
And, yes, and endless thank yous to absolutely everyone. Even people who've given me feedback so I can be better, like just everyone, just huge thank yous.
All right.
Yeah,
Great. Yeah, I would,
and thank you to you.
of course.
Truly, because I had this dream, right? That you were like, yeah, go ahead. There hasn't been anything along the way where you were like, Jessica, no. From letting me take over the kitchen to making, the financial decisions impact the entire house, opening the business, doing these things. It's a risk to everyone, not just to me. And I thank you for that. And I thank you for your belief and your support and,
Something I'd like to share is, it's not something I do, right? But that doesn't mean, that you don't show support and you don't show love, you're my wife, but also this is a business as well. And this is something that, we have goals and I believe in it and I support it. And it's important that I do what I can, to show that and to be there for you. I just wish I wish that more, not just men, but just others would understand that, you don't have to be directly involved to have an impact. You don't have to be directly involved to show your support.
Yeah.
There are other ways, and it's a very, like I said, it's a fascinating community. So any man out there, if your wife is a knitter, dyer, what have you, just listen in, take a look, just watch for a minute. I'm telling you, you're gonna end up more richer along the way. You're going to end up more enlightened because it's a whole community of people. It's a whole community of family that all sharing the same hobby and the same love for the same community. And it's real.
Yeah.
And you'll be more enriched if you do. And I believe in it. It's growing. It's been great. It's had a great impact.
Yeah.
And it's going to continue. So yeah.
Thank you.
Of course. Very welcome. Very welcome.
Look at that. It's 7:00.
So on behalf of Jessica Whitmore, CEO Jadawoo Designs, we just want to say thank you for those who attended this live. Shout out to Teresa and Sarah. Thank you so much for the support and tuning in. We appreciate it. Sarah, if you haven't had buddies yet, it's going to change your life.
Oh yeah.
Thank you to everyone. We appreciate the love and support and have a great day.